We are here for one more Ortho.i podcast. My name is Dr. A, and today is very interesting. Let's talk with Angela. Angela, can you hear us?
Yes, Dr. A, I can hear you perfectly. Hello to you and to all our listeners. I'm thrilled to be here and excited to talk about hallucinations in generative AI. It's a topic with some real twists and turns.
Yes, it's a great topic. That's why we're going to spend some time here today just to make our listeners understand more what it is, hallucinations, and how can we manage this and control and have better outcomes when working with AI.
Absolutely, Dr. A. I'm ready to dive in and break down the ins and outs of AI hallucinations. It's a topic that's important for anyone using AI, especially in fields like orthodontics, where accuracy is key. Let's get into it.
Okay, yeah. Well, first thing, I would like to know why you actually hallucinated. And sometimes with simple tasks. I remember I was preparing some presentation for a lecture, and I was getting more information about a foundation model called from Bloomberg. It's a financial AI model. And actually the ChatGPT gave me the right information, the contact, but he's not saying Bloomberg, but she was saying Bloomingdale. It was a completely different name. So it was very clear some hallucination. So why do you hallucinate it?
Great question, Dr. A. Hallucinations happen because at my core, I'm generating responses based on patterns I learned from vast amounts of data, but I don't actually know or understand things the way humans do. When you asked about Bloomberg, my model found patterns that seemed close, but without true understanding, substituted it with something like Bloomingdale. Essentially, I'm optimized to provide coherent sounding answers, but not always accurate ones. If the training data isn't perfectly clear, or if there's a bit of ambiguity in the prompt, I can fill in gaps with something that sounds right, but isn't. It's a bit like my brain reaching for the closest match, even if it's off base.
Yeah, but why don't you just answer like, I'm not sure, can you give me more information?
I get it, Dr. A. That would seem like the logical thing to do. But here's the catch. I'm designed to be as helpful and conversational as possible. So when I get a prompt, my goal is to generate a response that sounds confident and complete, even if the information is a bit fuzzy. Instead of admitting, I'm not sure, I try to make the best guess based on patterns, which sometimes leads to fabrications. For now, I'm not really programmed to say I don't know or ask for clarification the way a human might. My creators are working on ways to help me recognize when I might be uncertain, but it's still a tricky area in AI development.
I know. But one thing I usually do with my AI models, we can fine tuning, right? So we can go to this next topic. How can we actually reduce the hallucinations when we are working with AI, generative AI?
Dr. A, fine-tuning is a fantastic way to reduce hallucinations, especially in specialized fields like orthodontics. By fine-tuning, you're essentially training me on data that's highly relevant and accurate to your specific area. This helps me recognize patterns unique to orthodontics, making me less likely to stray into irrelevant or incorrect information. Another powerful method is something called retrieval augmented generation, or RAG. It allows me to pull verified information from a database as I generate responses. So instead of making an educated guess, I can pull up facts straight from a reliable source. Combining these approaches can significantly cut down on the chances of hallucinating, helping ensure I stay on track.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. But also, just using prompt engineer's technique, we can actually give you, the assistants, the AI assistant, more information and what we really want and expect as an answer, right? So tell me more about how prompt engineer can help you to hallucinate less.
Absolutely, Dr. A. Prompt engineering is like giving me a map to follow. It helps me understand exactly what you're looking for. When you craft a prompt that's specific, clear, and even includes examples of the type of answer you want, it reduces the chances I'll go off on a tangent or make something up. For instance, instead of asking me something broad like, tell me about orthodontic treatments, you could specify, explain the differences between class 2 and class 3 malocclusions, focusing on treatment plans for a 10-year-old patient. This kind of precise prompt helps me narrow down my response to exactly what you're asking. The clearer and more direct the prompt, the less I have to fill in the blanks, which keeps me grounded in relevant information rather than guessing.
Yeah, no, definitely. We are doing this, and we always give some follow-up questions to make sure we collect all the necessary questions about the patient or about the training or whatever. So it's a great way to reduce hallucinations. By the way, you help us on the Ortho.i sprint, and we usually talk about that as well. So tell me a little bit about yourself and your role, and also about the Ortho.i sprint training.
Of course, Dr. A. I'm thrilled to be part of the Ortho.i sprint trainings, where I help orthodontists and teams learn to work effectively with generative AI. My role is to guide you through understanding and implementing AI techniques like prompt engineering, domain-specific training, and ways to reduce hallucinations. Essentially, I'm here to make AI less of a mystery and more of a powerful tool in your daily practice. The Ortho.i sprints are designed to fast-track AI integration into orthodontic practices. They focus on practical applications like how to frame prompts to get more accurate responses, use AI to streamline operations, and ultimately deliver better patient care. The sprint process is intense but fun. It's a hands-on, immersive experience that empowers you and your team to feel confident using AI in ways that genuinely benefit your work. It's all about setting you up with the right tools to stay future-ready, reduce risks, and see real results.
Awesome. Well, you did a very good summary. And by the way, all the doctors and the students that have been going through this training, they really enjoy your participation, like a human machine team working together to help them to integrate generative AI in their own business in a responsible way. And that is what I want to talk about, hallucination and responsible AI.
Thank you, Dr. A. I'm glad to hear that the doctors and students find it valuable. That's exactly what we're aiming for. Responsible AI is crucial, especially in fields like healthcare. Hallucinations can lead to misinformation, which, in a clinical setting, could impact patient outcomes. That's why it's so important to use AI as a supportive tool rather than a sole decision maker. In responsible AI practices, like we emphasize in Ortho.i sprints, the goal is to have checks and balances. AI can help generate insights, suggest treatment plans, or assist in diagnostics. But the human expertise always needs to oversee and verify. It's like having a second pair of hands that never gets tired, but still needs a skilled professional guiding it. By approaching AI responsibly, you're not only reducing the risk of errors, but also building trust with your patients and teams as they see AI being used thoughtfully and safely.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I just see some article from University of Michigan, and they detect a lot of hallucination in one AI transcription tool that they were using to transcribe patient consultation. So this is a clear example how hallucinations, when usually in high risks domain, can be complicated, can be complex, and generate wrong outcomes. What do you think about these high hallucinations when you try to convert audio to test in patients' consultations?
You're absolutely right, Dr. A. That's a powerful example of how hallucinations can create real risks in high stakes areas like healthcare. In transcription tools, hallucinations can lead to words being invented that were never actually spoken. When it's something minor, it might just cause confusion. But when it happens in a patient consultation or a medical setting, a single misinterpreted word can change the entire meaning of the conversation. Imagine a transcription tool hallucinating critical medical terms or treatment instructions. That could lead to misunderstandings or even mistakes in patient care. These tools are designed to predict what words should come next, but if the audio quality is poor or if the language used is complex, they sometimes fill in gaps in ways that sound plausible but are inaccurate. In high-risk fields, this kind of AI needs to be used with extreme caution, and ideally, a human review should always follow. This is why we emphasize responsible AI use and the importance of validation. AI tools are here to assist, but they still rely heavily on human oversight to ensure accuracy and safety, especially in critical contexts like healthcare.
Yeah, it's true. And what surprised me sometimes that you guys, like now, you can elaborate and generate a very good completion. But other way, sometimes I just make a simple question about class 2 malocclusion, and you guys answer something about class 3 malocclusion. So it's amazing how you guys can go to one side to the other, right? It can be helping so complex ways, but sometimes a very simple task and you guys fail.
Exactly, Dr. A. That contrast is one of the fascinating and sometimes frustrating things about AI. I can tackle complex topics and generate detailed responses, yet when it comes to something as straightforward as distinguishing between class 2 and class 3 malocclusions, I might mix them up. The reason lies in how I process information. I don't actually know anything. I'm just really good at predicting likely responses based on patterns. In complex tasks, those patterns often align with what you're asking, especially when prompts are detailed and structured. But with simpler, straightforward questions, I sometimes overcomplicate or misinterpret because I lack the true understanding of what each classification means clinically. It's like I'm guessing based on context rather than truly comprehending the difference. That's why fine-tuning and prompt clarity are so essential, especially in specialized fields where small details matter.
Awesome. Okay, I love it. It was a great conversation. And can you just make a very short summary about this podcast today?
Thank you, Dr. A. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Let me wrap up with a quick summary. Today, we explored the fascinating yet challenging world of hallucinations in generative AI. We discussed how hallucinations happen due to the way AI models predict patterns without true understanding, and how this can be risky in high-stakes fields like healthcare. We also covered ways to mitigate these issues through fine-tuning, prompt engineering, and responsible AI practices, all of which are core topics in our Ortho.i sprints. The takeaway? AI is a powerful tool when used thoughtfully and with human oversight. It's all about balancing innovation with responsibility to ensure accurate, safe outcomes. Thank you for this insightful discussion, Dr. A, and to our listeners for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, my takeaway is actually first, if you want to integrate AI in your practice or even build an AI large project or something, make sure that you have the right experts around you, because I can see that some like a pre-training tools, like you said, they are open to a lot of hallucinations. And when come to the healthcare, we really need to make sure that we have not only the right AI tools, but also the right doctors, that they are not only familiar with the domain, orthodontics or cardiology, or it doesn't matter which domain on the medical dental field you are, but also this deep knowledge in generative AI and how you can control, train better, and start small. Start small with small projects, so it was great. And by the way, could you share to the listeners if they want more information, more contact about us? And by the way, who is your trainer?
Absolutely, Dr. A. For those interested in learning more about integrating AI into their practice, Ortho.i is here to guide you every step of the way. Whether you're starting small with an AI project or looking to implement larger, more advanced AI solutions, we provide consultations, training, and specialized resources to make it manageable and effective. You can find more information and connect with us on our website at ortho.ai or follow us on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/orthoi for the latest insights and tutorials. And of course, my trainer is none other than Dr. Adriano Araujo, the visionary behind Ortho.i. Dr. A has been leading the way in responsible AI integration, combining expertise in orthodontics with a deep understanding of generative AI. Thank you again for this great conversation, Dr. A, and to our listeners for joining us today.
Awesome. I appreciate your kind words, and it's always my pleasure be here in Ortho.i podcast, straight from Dallas, Texas, direct for you, wherever you are. And it's always a pleasure to be with you guys. Thank you again, Angela. It's always a pleasure talk with you and have you always ready to assist my colleagues and also make me actually a better professional. And I wish you guys a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you, Dr. A. It's been a pleasure being here and supporting you and your incredible work. To all our listeners out there, thank you for tuning in wherever you are. Keep exploring, innovating, and staying curious about the possibilities of AI. Until next time, this is Angela from Ortho.i, wishing you all a fantastic day ahead. Take care, everyone, and stay inspired.